Yeah, that's sharp. Hey, everybody, welcome to It's Just Food with Mike. I'm Mike. I want to show you how to sharpen your knives because if you got a dull knife, you're not getting the job done the right way. I learned how to sharpen my knives when I was in culinary school, the Culinary Institute of America. I had a chef instructor who had been a butcher since 1962, and he taught me how to sharpen my knives. Every kitchen I worked in, I had the sharpest knives of anybody in the kitchen. And what it allowed me to do was have the best knife skills and not wear out my hand while I'm cutting tons of product for banquets and whatnot. So let me get into it by first showing you what you need to sharpen your knives. Now, this is a sharpening stone. It's got a coarse grade, coarse side, and a finer side. And you can get these on Amazon. I bought this back in around the year 2000. But you can get them on Amazon from anywhere from $9 to $35 with a base and everything. And this base I bought with it at the time. There's better ones than this out there now. I've had this a long time. So you need the stone. You need something to hold the stone still. You can use a wet towel on, underneath it if you want. This is an oil stone. You're either going to have an oil stone or a water stone. I use mineral oil as the lubricant on here. You can use any oil you want. It doesn't really matter. I've used vegetable oil. I've used canola oil, whatever you want to use. But I use mineral oil generally. You need, obviously, a knife or knives, and you need a steel. You need a paper towel, and you need a piece of paper to test your blade. Okay, so I'm going to sharpen two knives today of two different varying sharpnesses to begin with. This is a boning knife that I already know is kind of sharp because I regularly sharpen this thing. This is a Santuco that I bought recently that I've sharpened it once. It hasn't really, I don't really use it a lot because it's not as sharp as I like my knives to be. So I'm going to show you the before and after. I'm going to show you what it looks like before I sharpen it and then what it looks like after I sharpen it. So if you look at a piece of paper, any scrap piece of paper will do, and you try to cut it, it's not cutting the paper. This one may cut. Yeah, that one cuts a little bit better. Okay. So what we're going to do is get into sharpening. We use the coarse side first. A little bit, not a lot, just a little strip there. Okay. Want to make sure you get the oil off your hands. Otherwise, your knife will slip. You don't want that. Now, what I'm going to do is take the blade. I always start going from left to right. You can go the other way if you want. I always finish going the opposite direction. So I get the same number of strokes on each side every time I do this. It just gives you a more even blade. So I'm going to go at about a 30 to 45 degree angle here with my knife. And I'm going to use the entire stone and take the blade across the entire thing. I'm going to utilize as much sharpening area as I can. So I'm going to put this equal pressure here to here. Okay? The whole blade gets the same pressure. We're going to run it down this way, run it back. And I do this until I get it where I need it to go. It shouldn't take too long. And it's important that while you're doing this, you're giving the same amount of pressure across the entire blade. Okay, every once in a while, I'll go ahead and wipe it off. And you can see there, some of the blade is already starting to come off on here. Now, there's a lot of different ways of sharpening a knife. Some restaurants will send their knives out to be sharpened by a company, and they'll replace them with other knives that kind of like rotate them out. I don't like doing that. I never did like doing that because it ruins the blades, I think. I've seen it happen. Those are usually cheap knives. This is not an expensive knife. I got this at TJ Maxx for about $15. Okay, I don't care if I break a blade or if I lose a blade or if it goes bad. Doesn't matter because I can go get another one for $15 if I need it. I have other knives that I use more regularly. So we're just going to do this till I feel good about it. and until I can get at least a somewhat decent cut in the piece of paper. Like I said, I've never spent much time with this knife. I've never spent a lot of money on knives. Never needed to. Because when you're working in the industry, one, you're not making a ton of money. And secondly, knives get broken. I've dropped another Santoku just like this one, and it split right in half, and I just threw it away. I didn't cry over that. So you see that little bit of oil that I put on here is enough. It's still doing the job. Okay, I'm going to check it. All I'm going to do is run my finger across and it's not there. A little bit better up here than down here, but you want it equal. When you got a new knife like this, you're going to take a little bit more time to get it where you... So we're starting to get there with this knife now, and it's going to be a little bit longer for this knife than for this knife. This one, like I said, it's already pretty good. Once you sharpen a blade and you get it where you want it, it's a lot easier to get it back there quickly. Like I said, I never spent much time with this. I think I sharpened it one time before and never really got the edge on it that I wanted. And that's why I really never really use it. It's because it's not as sharp as I like it. I don't want to have to struggle to get through things I'm trying to cut. And when it comes to knives, I'm not brand loyal either. So don't worry about what I'm using. You get whatever knives you're comfortable with. You use them. You make them how you like them. And that's kind of how the industry is anyways. And that's how you should be at home. Some people I worked with, they were adamant about what knife brand they used, whether it was Global or Wusthof or whatever. I was never loyal to any brand, and I still had the sharpest knives of anybody in the kitchen. Okay, so we're going to check this now. What we want to do is use our steel to set the edge on this. This is not a knife sharpener. This is an edge straightener. As you use when you look at a knife under a microscope, it's got little fingers that stick up, little microscopic fingers on the blade. And as you use it, those fingers bend. All this does is straighten that back out. So we're going to take and go one side and the other. Careful not to put it into your hand. I've done that. We do that, and then we check it on a piece of paper. Does it cut? Okay, it's starting to cut now. So we're starting to get there. A little bit more on this side, and then I'm going to switch over to the other side. Okay, so we're starting to get down to where I feel comfortable with this knife on this side of the stone. So I'm going to wipe it off, put a little bit more oil on it, and go to my next knife. And this one shouldn't take more than a couple minutes. When I was working professionally, I would sharpen my knives once a week. And they'd be good for the week. Now that I don't cook professionally anymore, I sharpen about once every 6 months or more. So you don't need to sharpen these a lot, or very frequently anyways. Now this is a boning knife made by Forstner. I said I'm not loyal to any brand. When it comes to boning knives, I like Forstner's. It's just my personal thing. I think these are easy to sharpen. They're made in Germany. They're made very well. They'll last you a lifetime. This one here came from TJ Maxx, and it's a Calphalon. I thought they made cookware, cooking like pots and pans, but it was a $15 knife. I don't really care that much. Okay, so again, same thing with this blade as I did with the Santoku. I'm just going to one side then the other, back and forth, starting the same direction and ending in the same direction every time. When you're dealing with a boning knife, this should be your sharpest knife. This and a fillet knife should be your sharpest knives in your toolkit or in your drawer. I'm not a fan of those blocks of knives. Putting them in those blocks tends to dull them. And another reason you don't want to spend a lot of money on knives, and you'll see on mine, you get little scratches on the blades, little scratches up in here. Doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't affect the knife performance or anything. Okay, so where I want to be with those, I'm going to clean this off, flip my stone over, and then do the fine side to really fine tune that knife, that blade where I want it to be. Anybody can do this. You see, it doesn't take a lot of skill. A little bit of oil. Just want a thin veneer of it on here. Okay. Move this back over here. I'm not going to be doing this as long as I did the other side. I've already got it kind of where I want it. This is, like I said, just to fine tune it. Clean your blade off. You don't want too much oil. Okay. Check it now. That's all it takes. You don't need to do it a lot. This is an old shopping list, so just use any old piece of paper you got. Okay. It's better than it was. Okay. It cuts it. It's not the cleanest cut in the world. I'll do a few more passes, and then I'll be happy with it for now. And the more you sharpen your knives, the quicker they'll get an edge when you go back to them. Okay. That's good for now on this knife. Okay, set that over here. Go to this one. It's already got enough oil on it. I don't need to worry about adding more. This won't take long. This will be quick. Check it. Yeah, that's sharp. So this is my first video that I'm putting out. I just wanted to kind of get this out of the way. I had to sharpen my knives anyway. I said, well, I might as well make a video and practice editing because I've never done it before. But it's going to be mostly cooking. If you have anything you want to see me do, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see me make. I'll do my best to do that for you. And if you liked it, give it a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Like I said, leave a comment. If you want to see me make something, I'll make it if I can, within reason. You know, I'm not going to roast a whole cow, but you know, if there's something else you want to see me do, let me know. Thanks. Have a good day.